African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of September 17, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. The units of the North Troop Group inflicted defeat on the formations of 2 mechanized brigades and an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Varachino, Andreevka, Sadki, and Yunakovka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, defeat was inflicted on units of a motorized infantry brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Velikaya Pisarevka in the Sumy region and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost up to 190 servicemen, an armored personnel carrier, 5 vehicles, and 3 field artillery guns. 8 ammunition and material supply depots were destroyed. The units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position. Defeat was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades, an assault brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Kupyansk, Boguslavka, Borovskaya Andreevka, Gorokhovatka in the Kharkiv region, Kirovsk, and Yampol in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to more than 250 servicemen, a British-made Snatch armored fighting vehicle, 28 vehicles, and 2 artillery guns. A launch unit of the Seyalka multiple rocket launcher system, 9 electronic warfare stations, and an ammunition depot were destroyed. The units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. Defeat was inflicted on formations of 3 mechanized, mountain assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Seversk, Peryezno, Fedorovka, Stepanovka, Mayskoye, Pleshchivka, Svyatopokrovskoye, Konstantinovka, and Roshkoshno in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 255 servicemen, a tank, 6 armored fighting vehicles, 17 vehicles, and 4 field artillery guns, including a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer. 2 electronic warfare stations, 5 ammunition and fuel depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of troops have improved their position on the front line. Defeated personnel and equipment of heavy mechanized, 2 mechanized, rifle, assault, 3 airborne assault brigades, an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a territorial defense brigade, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Belitskoye, Novy Donbass, Krasny Lyman, Lenino, Rodinskoye, Dmitrov, and Krasnoarmeysk of the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to over 535 servicemen, 5 combat armored vehicles, including the M113 armored personnel carrier, Max Pro armored vehicle, and HMMWV armored vehicle produced in the USA, 12 vehicles, and 3 artillery guns. Units of the East Group of troops continued advancing into the depth of the enemy's defense. Defeated formations of 2 mechanized, assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, and 3 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Verbovoy, Velikomichalovka, Berezovoy in Dnipropetrovsk region, and Uspanovka in Zaporizhia region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost up to 275 servicemen, 1 combat armored vehicle, 13 vehicles, and a radio-electronic warfare station. Units of the Dnieper Group of troops inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of mechanized, mountain assault brigades, and a coastal defense brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Maly Sherbaki, Stepnogorsk in Zaporizhia region, Olgovka, Antonovka, and Yantarnoy in Kherson region. Losses of the armed forces of Ukraine amounted to up to 50 servicemen, 8 vehicles. 8 radio-electronic warfare stations and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian armed forces troop groups inflicted damage on railway infrastructure facilities used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine, storage and launch sites of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 149 areas. Air defense means shot down 357 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. An unmanned enemy boat was destroyed in the northwestern part of the Black Sea. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 667 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 84,865 unmanned aerial vehicles, 628 surface-to-air missile systems, 25,138 tanks and other combat armored vehicles, 1,592 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 29,657 field artillery guns and mortars, 42,034 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.